Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today with us, Angel Ribo, CEO, consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is going to be interviewing Daniel Blanchard. Daniel is a best-selling and award-winning author, speaker, and educator. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is going to benefit of the content that we're going to be talking about today. Also, while we are live streaming, like right now, we have the active chat, the screen that you're going to be seeing here on my side or down the video if you are in a smartphone. And through there, you can communicate with us. We just please ask you to follow the format, word question in caps, and the actual question in relation with the conversation that we're going to be having today. We also want you to collaborate with Mindalia with your own valuable content. And for that, you can go to our website. On the top, you're going to find a link that says Collaborate with Mindalia. That link is going to take you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team will be getting in contact with you. You can collaborate with Mindalia in English, as you already know, but you can also do it in Portuguese through Mindalia Televisão and in Spanish through Mindalia Televisión. We want to invite you to visit our different channels to find out the content that we're developing there, content as beautiful and as interesting as the one that you're already used to see in Mindalia TV. We're not going to be delaying this any further, and we are going to leave you with Daniel, which I think that may have lost his connection right now. So we're going to leave you with Angel in the meantime. Angel, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. Let's
Thank
wait for Daniel.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirna, for the introduction. We're gonna wait for Daniel. I'm sure he's
Seems
gonna
that
be
he's right
joining.
here.
Exactly. He's back. So we'll start our conversation. Okay, good. So we have the microphone muted right now. So we'll try to unmute Daniel. Okay, fantastic. Good. So welcome, Daniel. I think we lost the signal for a while, but we're back. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Angel. I'm glad to be here with you. I think this is going to be a great show.
Absolutely, it is. It is going to be. It's already a great show. So thank you for being here. So I would like to ask you a very generic question. So what is that you do every single day that keeps you so passionate, Daniel?
That's a great question, Angel. And I got to say, something I do every day that keeps me so passionate is that I make progress of some sort. I wake up every single morning early and I do these tiny little things, Angel, that keep me going in the right direction. So, for example, I get up early every morning. You know what I'm saying? That gives me a head start on the day and a head start on life and gives me more time to do some of the things I want to do. Then the second thing I do every single day is I drink a glass of water. Now, that may not seem like a big deal to drink a glass of water, but what it does is it hydrates me and makes my health better so that my morning I can be more effective, more clear, more sharp. And again, most people would probably never even think of that. And if I talk to people about that, they're just like, well, I don't understand. That's really no big deal, right? The third thing I do every single morning to keep my passion going and making these little steps in progress is that I do a little bit of reading or a little bit of self-education. Maybe it's listening to a podcast. It's a little something to self-improve myself so that I'm taking these little tiny baby steps and progressing, improving. And the fact that I see myself improving just a little teeny bit every single day, Angel, that's what keeps me going. And that's what keeps me passionate. And that's what makes me a higher quality person, someone who's better able and more able to help others and make a positive difference in their life. And then of course I get that gratification back when I see people smiling. But if I wasn't able, if I wasn't of the quality to help other people, then I wouldn't be getting that little smile, that little thank you back every day. And my passion would probably be less than what it is now. So a lot of people say that I'm like a machine, that I have no fear, that I work harder than almost anybody they know. But, what keeps it going obviously is that passion, and that passion comes from tiny little steps of improvement every single day, Angel. So thanks for that great question.
No, please, absolutely. And you mentioned a word which is extremely valuable and extremely powerful, which is helping. and making a difference. So who do you typically help every day? Because I know that you have helped a large amount of people already, but who would you help? Who do you help typically every day?
Well, I'm in a great situation, Angel, that I'm married and have 5 kids that I wake up to every day. So obviously, I start off with helping my family every single day. And it's as simple as something like 4 a.m. When I'm getting that glass of water and getting ready to read, I throw a load of laundry in. You know what I'm saying? So just little tiny things that don't seem like a big deal, help my family every single day. And then, of course, I do the obvious things. Like I go to work, I provide for the family, I support the family. I bring the kids to practice, and I do, I model appropriate behavior and winning habits. And then when I go to work, I'm surrounded by students and athletes all day long, Angel. So I'm just in that position. I'm like right there where I got no choice, but to help because of what I do for a living. So I help every single day. And then in between helping my family and helping my students and athletes, also like a best-selling author and speaker. So I spend a lot of time writing books, blogs, articles, doing podcasts, doing webinars, doing speeches, and doing all those other things that guys like me and you, Angel, that we do, to help other people. So like my entire day from the moment I wake up, Angel, at 4 a.m., to maybe going to bed like 10, 11 o'clock, is basically surrounded with helping other people, and even something very, very simple, such as maybe at the end of the night, me and my wife just spending a little bit of quality time together so that I'm helping our marriage, remain strong so we could be those good parents, that are not constantly fighting, but be those good parents for our kids. That indirectly helps our kids, helps the family unit, which helps our kids be good people out there in society. So I'm in it 24/7, basically, Angel, of helping other people. It's just what I do and the way I live my life.
What do students and athletes represent in your life?
Oh boy, promise, potential, a breath of fresh air, that freshness. I love it when I see kids, students enjoying my class. Almost every year when kids come into my class, I say to them, I go back and forth between teaching special education and history. And this year I'm teaching both special education and history. And I love it. When I say back in September, I said, okay, how many kids don't like history? And, a lot of their hands go up. And I say, well, the reason you don't like history is because you haven't had me for a teacher yet. So I go back and ask that question or a similar question around Christmas time. I'm like, how many of you kids like history now? And pretty much all their hands go up. So, seeing that is awesome. And then the same thing, like I coach I coach football, I coach wrestling for 14 years for other people's kids. And then I coach my own kids, for about a decade, and just seeing, the progress that they're making and seeing their self-confidence improving, as they're learning new techniques or new skills or new knowledge or whatever it may be, and knowing that I have a hand in it, I love that stuff when I see that with our youth. And I know I may not be thinking about it all the time, Angel, but I know that I'm building a better future out there in society. Because, someday these kids are going to be running things, and I want them to be good people that are running things that are ready to give back. And I feel that pretty much every day of my life, I have a hand in developing those kind of people that's going to develop that kind of future, Angel. So, I love what I do. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's not easy, but I love what I do. And I obviously, I have that passion that just drives me through every single day, every single minute, every single, hour, every single second. It drives me through. And I tell people, I say, hey, here's the deal. I'm saying, if you find yourself lacking that energy, all you really need to do is get emotionally charged. Like your emotions will give you that energy. Emotions drive motion. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Emotions drive motion. So get emotionally charged, and you'll find yourself, in motion all day long, doing what you love doing and doing what you do that builds a better world, a better future for these kids who are going to be running our world someday. So me, I don't know, maybe I'm just naturally gifted in having that emotional energy and always being in motion. But to tell you the truth, Angel, I think pretty much almost anybody out there can do it, regardless of what their personality is. They can find that emotional charge and get that emotional energy to drive their emotions all day long to make this world a better place. They could do it. I do it. You do it. I think anybody could do it. They just got to decide to do it.
Decision. That's a great word. Decision. Make the decision to do it. What do you think is the role, or what do you think should be the role of a teacher in the educational system today, Daniel?
Yeah, that's a great question. And too many times, Angel, in my life, I've run across teachers that believe content is king. You know what I'm saying? And I laugh because, listen, I have 14 years of college, 7 degrees. I've read thousands of books. So I get the whole content thing, and I know how to liven up and spice up, the content thing with some really cool information. But the bottom line is that I say, you know what? Content really isn't king when you're a school teacher today, standing in front of 30 students. You know what I'm saying? What's king today, and I say, is like your relationships with them is what's king today. So when people get all mad and they tell me, these teachers say, I teach math, or I teach history, or I teach English. I say, well, that's great, but I teach kids history. I teach kids math. I teach kids English. See, it's always the kids. It's always the people. It's always the relationships first, and then the content second. But you got to bring the content. You got to have the content. And if you don't have the content, you're not going to be able to do as good as the job. But if you're going to sacrifice one for the purpose of working on the other, I would say spend a little bit more time, with the people component. Teach people, teach kids, and then build your content every chance you get. I'm saying? Too many people think it's the other way around, that you build your content and then whatever social skills you have, well, then whatever, that's good enough because they're in my classroom and they're supposed to be doing what I say and learning math, you know what I'm saying, or learning English or whatever it is. I say build that secondary, build your social and people skills first and, primarily. And you got a lot of years. You got a lot of years to get better at the content, but the social skills, the people skills, that's your biggest, your biggest bang for the buck. That's got your most impact. So you got to really get on that. You got to be good with people. I always say education, Angel, that's a people business. You know what I'm saying? And even not just for teachers, but for administrators. I mean, too many administrators are like, oh, data decision, data-driven decision making. And it's like, listen, you're losing the art to the science, buddy. You know what I'm saying? You got to go back to people. It's a people business. And then the other stuff, you got years to build that content and years to build that data decision stuff. That stuff will come. That stuff will come. Get on the people first. Absolutely.
Would you mind sharing with the audience what you are teaching today?
Well, in my traditional job, what I'm teaching today is I'm in an alternative high school with a lot of kids that have been expelled, a lot of kids that don't fit in very well with the traditional curriculum of the large high schools. And the high school I've been working at for a lot of years is very large. It's the largest inner city high school in Connecticut. It's in the Britain High School, and I loved working there. But I got to tell you, I enjoy what I'm doing now too. So I walk into my classroom every single day, and I teach one social studies, U.S. history class after another, and I just weave in all of my special education knowledge and skills, all that, my modifications and everything that I have to do as a special education teacher. But leading that charge is always my social skills, my people skills, and the relationships that I develop with my students. And I got to tell you, Angel, I mean, I've got some rough students that don't make it. They don't make it like anywhere. And they sit there and they do what I ask them to do almost all the time. They enjoy my content. They're interested in my content. And they say, hey, mister, you know what I like about you? I like it that you don't act like you're better than us. That's huge. I don't talk down. I don't talk down to my students as I'm driving the content into their little brains. I talk with my students like we're old buddies hanging out, talking about something that's interesting or talking about something that's important. And when teachers take that route, when coaches take that route, administrator, mentors, or anybody that's working with our youth, pastors, whatever it is, when you're talking with them in a way that's interesting and exciting and warm and friendly, they are going to pay attention more. They're going to do more of what you ask them to do. Now, I'm not saying, to be a little softy pushover. I'm not saying not ever to be firm. You got to be firm as the leader of the group, but you can also be friendly. You can also be fair. You know what I'm saying? So you're firm, friendly, and fair. And you develop that atmosphere, that climate of, you know what, we're in this together, buddy. We're in this together, buddy, and we're going to have a little fun learning some stuff here this year. Finally, you know what I'm saying? Finally. So when you're a teacher or when you're a mentor, when you're any adult that's working with our youth, when you do that sort of thing, you'll see it becomes more fun to do what you do. And that fun creates more emotions and charges you and charges the drive so that, like I said before, with those positive emotions, you find yourself in motion all day long, and you don't mind. You don't mind getting up early and studying your content a little more. That's what you have to do to deliver a better, more interesting lesson that day. You find yourself doing it. So I've been doing that, Angel, for a long time. Again, so many people say, oh, well, you're gifted with that personality that you have. And I say, yeah, maybe. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. I said, every one of us, can make that decision, as that word we used earlier, Angel. We can make that decision to decide to learn. I mean, none of us are incapable of learning to do a lot of the things that I do. All of us can learn to do that, and all of us can put ourselves in better positions to work with our youth and have much more impact with our youth and create a better tomorrow. Every one of us, Angel, can do that.
When I asked you the question, you said that part of your life is this, what you just explained. What about the rest of your life, Daniel?
Oh, gosh, what I do is just led to like the yellow brick road. It's just led to one really cool thing after another. Because my students don't think I talk down to them, because they're very friendly with me, and because they like me, because they love me. My students have been like, they spend like 10 years going, hey, mister, you should write a book so that you could tell other kids the things you tell us. And for 10 years, Angel, I was like, no. I was like scared. I'm like, I'm a bad writer, maybe I'm a great teacher, but I'm a bad writer. I don't want to write a book. I'm scared. But for 10 years, different students kept asking me to write a book, Angel, so I could tell other kids the things that they could tell us. And I knew that my circles of influence would broaden if I could just get over my fear and do it. And my students kept asking me. So after 10 years, Angel, I was like, you know what? Maybe my students are seeing something that I'm not seeing. And maybe I should put my trust in them the way I asked them to put their trust in me. And maybe I should just follow their lead. So I did. I wrote a book. And then it got published. And then that book led to another book and another book, and speaking opportunities and columns and blogs and virtual summits and podcasts. And it's led to so many things that I've done with teenagers, teen leadership, adult leadership, parenting, sports. I'm writing a football book and a wrestling book that's pretty much based around the principles that I talk about and practice every single day. It's just, I've written academia books, books that have helped teachers, books that have helped administrators, educational leaders. And it's given me opportunities to be in contact and engaged with some super exciting people, high quality people such as yourself, Angel. I just the other day, I tell people my son's wrestling, and I'm writing a book that Dan Gable endorsed. And for people out there that don't know Dan Gable, he's one of the greatest ever, like Olympic wrestlers and wrestling coaches ever. The day after Christmas, I open up my email, and there is an email from Dan Gable that says, "Happy Holidays, Dan." A personal email from like the greatest of all time. So, it's so amazing. Like I get like emails and phone calls, and I get to be on podcasts, and I get to share time on stages with some of the most amazing people. And it all started from developing those relationships in my classroom and falling in love with helping people, helping students and helping teachers, helping administrators to help students. It all like started there. That was the genesis of it, was right there, Angel. And it's led to so many other things. Now, Angel, if you don't mind me rambling on a little bit longer, when I was a young man, like I wanted to do important things. I thought about like doing important things. I thought about it a lot. How do you do important things? And I studied successful people. How do you do important things? But it's all like circled back to like helping people. When I help people, other people come into my life. People become engaged with me. People like me. And people want to be part of my team or whatever it is that I'm doing. People want to be around me. So by helping other people, I have been able to shoot to, near the top, higher up the mountain, much faster than just sitting there going, how can I be important? How can I be important? How can I do this for me? You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't get you where you want to go. Where gets you where you want to go is helping others. It's such a simple truth that we hear over and over and over, but it's like so hard to grasp when you're first starting off, and you grasp that. You stop thinking about how you can be important, and you grasp that helping others. Sooner or later, you turn around and you're important. You know what I'm saying? You turn around, you're important. It's amazing, and you're doing great things with great people. It's really amazing. So I would say to the people out there, definitely, help other people and do the best you can in your job, because you don't know where that job is going to lead you. It's sort of like Martin Luther King said, if you're a street sweeper, you'll be the best street sweeper ever. And who knows? Who knows where that could lead you? Probably lead you to some pretty great places.
Absolutely. And thank you. Thank you for your comments. Absolutely. Everybody wants to know how to find you, how to find your books. Would you mind sharing some information about how people can contact you, Daniel?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Angel. I am all over the place. Anybody who Googles Dan Blanchard, Daniel Blanchard, Dan Blanchard author, Dan Blanchard speaker, whatever, Google's Granddaddy's Secrets. You Google me, you'll find me everywhere. If you want to go to my website, it's granddaddysecrets.com, danblanchard.net. I'm on
Granddaddy, say it again.
granddaddysecrets.com or danblanchard.net. Go on Facebook. You'll see me, Dan Blanchard or Daniel Blanchard. The Facebook, the everywhere, Google Plus, Twitter, everywhere. Go on Amazon. If you go on the Daniel Blanchard on Amazon, you'll see my academic books. If you go on the Dan Blanchard on Amazon, you'll see my leadership books. I got parenting books coming out that'll be on there soon. Speaker books that will be on there soon. Football and wrestling book that will be on there soon. So, basically, I'm all over the place. So people will have no trouble finding me. Just go ahead and Google Dan Blanchard. It's that simple. You'll find me everywhere.
If someone in our audience would like to start reading one of your books, what would be that one book that you could recommend to start getting to know Daniel better?
I would say it's a fictional book. It's a teen leadership book, a mentoring book. I would say The Storm, How Young Men Become Good Men. You read that book first. And I got to be honest with you, Angel, a lot of people have read that book and they've come to me and they've been like, wow. They're like, you're not saying anything that hasn't already been said, Dan, but you're saying it in such a unique way that like really sticks with you. So I would say read The Storm. It's on Amazon. You can find it through my website, Granddaddy Secrets, or danblanchard.net. But read The Storm, How Young Men Become Good Men. And that will open up your eyes to some really deep insights and drill home a lot of things that you already know. And from that book, go to A Sprint to the Top, its sequel. And then there'll be just a bunch of other books and readings and blogs and articles and YouTube videos that you can follow from there to get to, better know me. And of course, they can email me. You know what I'm saying? I personally answer my emails. So email me and I will answer you back, and I will begin a conversation with you that can be ongoing through many years to come. No doubt about it. So
Beautiful. Of the many things that you are, let's say, uncovering for our audience, there's one that I specifically want to touch upon, because I know there's a lot of people suffering from that out there, and they shouldn't be. And actually, it's also something that I have personally been really involved in the education of my kids. And you've said that you are in touch daily with special education kids. There's an increasing number of special education kids, or at least diagnosed as special education kids. And obviously, they need help. And I know a lot of parents that are actually suffering due to the fact that, they live with special education kids every single day. And I've always seen them really gifted and a big blessing in everybody's lives. But it took to me a while to reach that point. So I would like you to talk about that, to elaborate about that. What do special education kids represent to you in your professional life and in your daily life? Because you see and you deal with them and you help them and you enjoy your life with them every day.
I do. And I can tell you I'm 49 years old, and I'm still imperfect and flawed in so many ways. So when I look at these, and I grew up in a very tough, dysfunctional home. So when I look at these special education kids I deal with, so many of them represent me and my brother. So many of them are in difficult life circumstances. Not all. Some are in wonderful homes, loving and caring. But so many of them are in difficult homes. So many of them are like flawed and need like personal development to get out of their own way, so they're not their own worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at these kids, I see so much of like myself and my brother and these kids. And my brother, he's passed away, very hard life, and he just, unfortunately, he wasn't going to live long with his lifestyle. But these kids represent what could be. I was one of these kids, so flawed. I was one of these kids, and people, coaches, sports, mentors, books, so many things intervened in my life to make me who I am today. So these kids, I mean, they're all lovely kids. They all got huge hearts. They all will go through brick walls for you once you get their trust. You build that relationship, you get their trust. I mean, I have kids come up to me and say, "Hey, mister, don't you worry about your car. I'm watching your car. No one's going to touch it." You know what I'm saying? So, these kids, they will have your back. But you got to build that relationship with them. And you got to believe that these kids are not going to stay right where they are right now, that they are capable of developing if they have some help. They need help. They need lots of help. And any one of us can be that person. It could be the school crossing guard. It could be the lunch lady. It could be the next door neighbor. It could be the softball coach. You know what I'm saying? Any one of us, a librarian, any one of us can be that person to help them. I mean, they're crying out in pain. They're crying out for help. Many times they do it through acting up. And then we get all mad and we turn our backs on them. We can't turn our backs on them. We got to see that they're crying out for help. They need help. And any one of us, especially as adults, because we're older. We're older. We've got more life experience, more skills, more knowledge. And there's always something that we can share with them to help make them better people. And someday they will pay it forward. They will be like me. They'll be like me, paying it forward. You know what I'm saying? So, and if people don't intervene and people don't help, then they end up like my brother. That's That's a sad story that didn't have to be. They should end up like me and do things that I do, with fully charged energy and passion to help the next generation. It could be done. It could be done, and we can all help. So that's how I work with those kids, and I love what I do, and I make such a difference out there. And any one of us can do that. Really can. Well, that's a great. Thanks, Angel. That's a great question.
No, I was also going to ask you because again, I think that there's a lot of parents which are suffering today, and is there, according to your experience, what do these parents come to you and ask for help? What sort of help do they typically ask for when they go to you, knowing that you are with them all the time and you're earning their trust every day?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is funny, and you probably heard this one too, Angel. Parents always come to me. They throw up their arms. They go, I don't know what to do with this kid. I've tried everything. The kid doesn't listen to me, and I laugh a little bit and I say, hold on a second. I go, your child does listen to you. I go, you can't throw up your arms and give up, because the thing is, even though your kid is pretending not to listen to you, your kid is listening to you. So the next time you're not around and the kid's faced with a decision, maybe one of their friends is doing something that's not healthy, it's not good, you're in their head. If you haven't thrown up your arms and walked away for real, if you've stayed with them and you kept telling them in different ways with love and empathy and patience, you're in their head. They hear your voice. Now, they may not always follow that voice, but there are times when you're in their head and they're hearing your voice and they follow your advice and it keeps them out of trouble they would have gotten in. So when you say your kids are not listening to you, I agree that it looks that way. But the truth is, they are. They are listening to you. They're just pretending that they're not listening to you. So you can never give up. That's my advice to parents. Never give up. Keep talking to your kid. Maybe give them some room. Give them some time. Come back when they're in a better place, when they're not angry. Maybe say it in a different way. Always say it out of love and empathy. Never like that in your face sort of thing, that anger sort of thing. Don't use that. That doesn't work. And you're saving your kid from a lot of trouble, even though you don't realize it. Just keep doing it. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Sort of like writing a book, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Sort of like developing your career. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Well, raising a child, that takes at least 18 years to raise a child. And then you're in the next phase of raising a young adult. And who knows, maybe that's another 18 years. Maybe it is. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. Hang in there. Your kid's listening. Yeah, he really is.
A lot of the concepts that you are sharing with us today are a little bit challenging with the status quo, right? With what is sometimes happening and you mentioned the administrators, obviously they're trying to do their best. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. They're trying to do the best for their kids and for the future of these kids.
Yep.
But you're mentioning concepts that sometimes can be like disruptive in that kind of environment.
Yes.
How do you personally deal with that, let's say, strictness of the environment in which you are actually, living every single day in that part of your life, Daniel?
Mm. Well, I got to tell you, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Containing. You're contained within a certain structure, a certain bureaucracy, and that doesn't work for all kids. So it's frustrating, sometimes when you're contained within these four walls of this classroom and you got to go, a certain curriculum, a certain way to do it. And the best way, and I know it may sound like I'm beating a drum on this, but the best way to do it is that you got to develop those relationships with the kids, because so many of those kids don't want to be there. They hate the sterile classroom environment. So you got to develop those relationships, and you got to become creative and think outside the box and deliver your content in a creative way that gets these kids involved with you and gets these kids thinking like, oh, wow, this isn't like the ordinary, everyday run-of-the-mill teacher that's like, that's standardized, like education. Boom, 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 boom. Don't do that. Try not to be standardized. Be unstandardized. Be creative. Think outside the box. Do things a little bit different. I do some really crazy over-the-top things, where people may be like, oh my gosh, that's so Pollyannish, but it works. It works. Develop those relationships and be that kind of teacher. And for educational leaders out there, we have to be more creative with our education, and we have to wisely sink. I don't want to say sink. Wisely invest more money in the right ways into our educational system to get our kids, better prepared for the future. And education's expensive. It is. We all know it is. But ignorance and the fact that our kids can't get jobs and turn to craziness, later in life, whether it's brutality or living off the system or stealing or living in prison, that's the really, really, really expensive stuff. Always in the emergency rooms, that's the really expensive stuff. Wisely invested money in a better educational system that works is not as expensive as that other stuff. But yet we won't do it because we say it's too expensive. Until that day comes, teachers got to think outside the box and develop those relationships and be creative. And that will help. That will help a lot.
Where are those places? Which are a few of those places that probably we should be investing more on our educational system, on our public educational system, Dan?
Well, you hear about these alternative educational systems. Like I'm working right now in the alternative school in my school district. Like these kids are not going to make it in the big high school. So they come here. We have more staff, more creativity, more flexibility to work with these kids, and we do a good job with them. I would love to see like the neighborhood schools come back where the teachers know the families and the families know the teachers. You go down the street to get a haircut and there's your teacher. You know what I'm saying? You go down the street to get a bite to eat and there's your principal. And mom and dad and you and everybody are all talking together and you're all building those relationships within the community, within the neighborhood. I mean, we need to get to know each other. When we're in a big box high school of 3,000 students and you got teachers coming from all over the state to work in those schools, and you have to follow this set curriculum, and you got these mandates that are on you that are impossible to fulfill with the resources you have available. There's not enough teachers. I mean, how do you build those relationships? How do you build those community connections? It's very, very difficult. So we need more alternative schools, more neighborhood schools, smaller schools, more community, more neighborhood, more relationships. We need to do those sorts of things. Because remember, Angel, like I said earlier, this is a people business. And we're forgetting that and focusing on data. Data second, maybe third. People are first.
Extraordinary conversation today. We have to wrap up now, but I wanted to make an announcement. Daniel has been, kind enough to. There's something that Daniel and I share, and that's the passion for the future of our world and the passion for our kids. And we share that really, really, really deep. And actually, even Mirna shares that passion. So here at our team, we are actually starting. This is the first of many conversations. Daniel is going to be co-hosting together with me moving forward, extraordinary conversations with people in the world of education, in the world of youth, in the world of children, to make sure that we are able to help as many parents and kids and young people in the world as possible. So, this is going to happen every single Friday moving forward. We're going to do this. And I wanted to just announce this now that we're having this incredible conversation. So you, everybody here at the audience of Mindalia TV will be learning more and more and more about Dan and about extraordinary people that he is bringing to the show every single week. So basically, I would like you to, maybe if you want to add something else to what I just said about the show moving forward.
I am so looking forward, Angel, to our Friday at 11 a.m. show on Mindalia TV, because there's so much that like both of us have inside of ourselves that we just need to share out on a wider scale, in wider circles. We have so many things that we can do to help people live better lives and help the adults out there, help the youths live better lives. So I'm just ecstatic, Angel. I'm pumped that me and you are just going to get to share, and special guests that we have on are going to get to share these bits of wisdom, that we've hard earned over the years, and our little techniques and tactics and strategies and knowledge for making this world a better place. We're going to do that. We're going to make this world a better place, Angel. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Absolutely, we are going to do it. So again, would you mind reminding everybody what can we find you before we wrap up?
Again, the simplest thing is just Google Dan Blanchard or Dan Granddaddy's Secrets, author, speaker. You'll find me everywhere. I'm all over the internet and all the social media channels. And zip me an email. Would love to start a relationship, ongoing relationship with you over the years. I'll help you any way I can. So definitely reach out to me. I'll reach back.
Excellent. So and so it is. Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel. And
you're welcome. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you for being with us today. Again, we're going to be here every single week on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to bring amazing people, and we're going to talk about many different angles about the education, about the kids, about the youth, about the future of this world. So thank you very much. Again, this is Angel Ribo with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much for being with us today. We hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.